happening just a week after the terrorist attack in Manchester, where 22 people were killed, including 2 from Poland, and tens were injured. How artists experience such tragic events like terrorist attack with the plays during concerts?
I would assume we experience the same way like everybody else. There is, of course, at first a shock, that this is even happening, in our civilized world. There's so many good things in the world out there, and then it's difficult to always realize that there's also those horrible events happening all around the world, and it's for a moment it's difficult, but then you also have to get back up and move on with life, because you cannot have life being destroyed by individuals who cause these horrible events.
Yeah. Did you start to worry after the terrorist attack in Manchester, and as an artist, do you feel an danger?
I wouldn't do this profession if I would have any, if I wouldn't be somebody who, there's always a certain risk, but I love what I do. There's really not much you can do as an artist than just trust the people you work with, trust the security people who work in the halls, and I'm pretty sure that all of those people, especially also after this horrible event in Manchester, will, try to be even more, precise with their job, and try to, make, of course, everybody still feel comfortable, yet be, very aware of people trying to destroy life.
It is your first time in Poland. How do you like our country?
Oh, I love Poland. So far, I have to admit, I've only seen Warsaw, and I've had a show in Łódź a couple of months ago. But what I've seen, and I've also been extremely lucky with the weather every time I come here. It's a beautiful country. People are super nice here, and treat me wonderfully. So there's so much love. And I hope I can give some of that back.
Are you going to perform in Poland alone or with the band? Okay. You talk.
Oh, I talk? Okay. Well, we're going to play 3 shows now in October, 25th, 26th, 27th in Krakow, Warsaw, and Danzig. And we're going to be there performing with the band. And so it's going to be a crossover program. A lot of fun, and I hope a lot of people will show up, because I'm super excited to be performing finally here in Poland.
How do you want to surprise to public during your concert?
I'm not a big person when it comes to surprises. I think in the end you prepare and work hard to have a great program and to have something which you have fun with. I think the most important thing being a performer is enjoying yourself on stage and not trying too hard to win an audience over, because the real true joy is happening in here, and people feel that, and that's what gets people excited.
What do you think about Polish women? How do you like them? Would you like to have a Polish wife?
I do know a few Polish women. First and foremost, my former teacher, Ida Händel, who is from Poland, and I've worked throughout my life a lot with her, and she's a wonderful human being, and I've always admired her, not only for her musicianship, but also for her personality. On top of that, I'm also surrounded by other Polish women. For instance, my tour manager has a Polish girlfriend, so I'm very aware of their not only beauty but also beauty inside. So I don't know about girlfriend or wife, but you never know.
What about Polish fans? Do they treat you in a different way than your fans in Germany or in USA?
That's difficult to really say. I mean, there's always only positive things coming to me, and also this morning I did a TV morning show, and there are of course always some fans waiting with gifts. It's I have to admit that especially in Poland it seems to be very common to always bring some sweets or some flowers, so I really do appreciate the effort. It's extremely sweet.
So how it happened that you start to play a violin?
It started quite let me just have some. Sorry, I thought somebody was like making this. Actually, pretty common. I have an older brother, and he started playing the violin. And obviously, being the younger sibling, I wanted to also have the things he was playing with. So I asked my parents also to buy me a violin, and that's how I started.
How old were you?
I must have been just about 5 years old. So a long time ago.
I guess practicing each day was very tiring for you?
There are periods in life where it's more difficult, and there's times where it's a lot of fun. It's it's still work, and you still have to be very disciplined, especially through the times when maybe you don't feel the fun part of practice. I'm sure there's certain times when you're a teenager where other things might be more of interest, and you maybe for a day or two struggle with something technically, and there's a lot of frustration anyway in your system. And then you're like, let me do something normal.
When was the first moment that you had Stradivarius in your hands?
I was quite young. My dad was, and still is, involved with musical instruments. He has an auction house in Germany, so there were a lot of beautiful instruments always going in and out of our house. So probably the first time I saw or had a Stradivari in my hand was by the age of maybe 9 or 10. So very early.
What is the difference in playing Stradivarius, violin, and new modern instrument?
The difference is more money goes out for the insurance. And of course it's a big honor, and but the thing is, it's not, you have the respect for the instrument before you play a Stradivarius, and you have to know how an instrument works. And of course it makes no sense to give a Stradivarius to just anybody. You have to be already a good violinist. And when I was 13, I already was signed with Deutsche Grammophon, and I was playing with very good orchestras and big conductors. So it wasn't just out of luck that I got a Stradivari. I worked, even though I was very young, already very hard for getting such an instrument.
Who formed you as a musician and a virtuoso of violin?
I had a couple of teachers, especially when I was growing up with the violin. I would say Zacha Bronn, who I worked with from age 6 to 9. He was, very adamant about technique, bow arm, left hand technique. And of course, afterwards, I started working with Ida Händel for a very long time, and still approach her if I have any questions. And but she was more about music. I don't think if I would have had any technical difficulties, she would just say, okay, go practice. There was no real advice, because she's such a natural musician, and she never had any issues with that. So, and she expected me not to have any issues with technique as well. And then of course Itzhak Perlman later on at Juilliard School. I think those are the three names.
Have you ever regretted that you become an architect?
That I did not become an architect. Oh, you know what? I have no regrets at all in life. Everything happens for a reason, and you know what? I can still change. I can still do something totally different.
Okay.
Still possible.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm not yet dead.
Yeah, okay. How did it happen that you started mixing classical music with pop, rock and blues?
Oh, this all happened very gradually. Nothing happened overnight that I was like, oh, big epiphany, I want to do this and that. It was like, you know, trying out, you know, experimenting, liking something or really messing something up. And just bit by bit, it's really like every day being experimental, every day being adventurous, and of course every day working on not only being creative in that direction, but also forming your craft with classical music.
Did you try to play Rihanna or Miley Cyrus? How was it?
Well, I try everything. Not everything works for the instrument, or sometimes I'm not yet ready to find the right approach. Mm-hmm. But in the end, it's I think if you have good taste, you will always find the pieces which suit for the instrument and which suits for an orchestra and band.
Mm-hmm. Pop or rock songs do you like to play and it gives you fun and pleasure?
I would say everything I play on stage, on tour, or I record, those are pieces which I of course choose. Yeah. And that being said, those are pieces which I love listening to, and I also enjoy, of course, very much performing them.
What do you feel when you hear people saying that you are the most handsome violinist in the world?
I feel embarrassed. And
do you feel embarrassed?
Absolutely. I think everybody feels embarrassed when they get compliments and they don't really have anything particularly to do with what you look for and what you work hard for. And it's... I try to be very humble and accept those compliments, but it's I always, you know, inside turn quite red.
I have been heard that diet is very important for you. And what do you avoid to eat and why?
I try to avoid, of course, eating too much sugar or too much carbs, but you know, it's all about balance. You know, there's always situations where you feel like, oh, your body needs something, and then it would be, I think, also for your psyche also horrible to just say no. I think you have to also cut your mind and body sometimes a little slack.
You know Polish food?
As a matter of fact, I actually had some Polish food last night. There was a soup, which was supposed to be like around Easter soup kind of thing. I have no idea what is in it, but it tasted extremely well. And I had a herring with, I think it was cabbage and some potatoes, mashed potatoes on the side. Very delicious.
And pierogi, you know? Pierogi.
I know also, but I haven't had it now on this time here in Poland.
Do you know that you have a lot of female fans in Poland and they go on your concert in Europe?
I am very aware of that because I've for many years now have met so many Polish fans, as you said, outside of Poland. And always requesting, why are you not performing here? And so finally, I'm happy I can fulfill their wish.
You are a huge fan of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What do you like him?
I like outsiders.